go. Welcome to the dopest podcast in all the land. Yes, I can proclaim that because I think we have the certificate of authenticity for that one. Back to Basics, a comic book podcast on YouTube is back with another installment of Geekdom, just like you like it. Our podcast is unconventional and we center our creatives, as you all know, as people first to translate the why, right, in their creativity and ultimately dive deep into their craft. We want you to get to know these folks from an intimate level, and then we pan out to appreciate their work and all their hard-earned praises that they deserve. So today's episode is a first, okay? So this is the first time we've done this. We are so excited to welcome twin creatives. Yes, I said twins who are killing it in the comic book scene. We're hella excited to showcase and highlight the talents of these two women, as you saw in the promo. As with every episode, we want our viewers and community at large to learn something new, connect with the guests, and be empowered by the content we produce. We work hard on this, y'all, so we'd like to think that every episode you are joining us in the comic book living room, geeking out with us with your friends, and eating pizza. Bring your food, your drink of choice. We know we did, so I won't show you what I'm drinking. But my name is Gen X, and I'm the Papi Chulo of comics. And if you don't know what Papi Chulo is, brush up on your Spanish lingo. And I'm proud to be one of the co-hosts of Back to Basics, a comic book podcast. So comic books were an amazing creative outlet when I was a kid, and I continued my collecting obsession throughout my formative years and even became a pretty good artist. So I need to get back into it, but I won't show you any of my drawings. Hopefully you'll see me later on down the line. Now my passion has extended to talking about comic books, selling them, hosting virtual cons, educating folks, and learning myself along the way. So I'm humbled by the love shown for us on this channel and beyond, and we thank you for watching and listening. And now I'm going to pass it off to my brother from another mother and co-host. Here we go.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Tempos coming at you with a fresh take on comic culture. Now, before we get started, before we move a little forward, please, guys, follow, like, subscribe. Make sure you engage with us. We want to make sure we align with everybody. Want to contact. If you want to speak with us, let us know on IG. But man, let's get into this, man. Jen, you know how it goes.
Hey, brother, how do we do it?
The Brooklyn way.
That's right. That's right. If you didn't know, you better ask somebody. Both of us are from Brooklyn, New York, by way of identity. So I'm Puerto Rican. Tempos is half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, right?
No,
What are you, bro? What are you?
I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban.
Cuban. Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, you know what? The flags are
Close enough.
inverted. It's
Close
close.
enough.
It's
Close
close.
enough.
No, it's no, no. I want to give you props. He's Cuban and Puerto Rican. Woo! That's a hell of a combination.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So each of us are personalities in our own right and communicate through Instagram. So please follow us. I'm Gen X _ comics in IG. And what are you?
Tempos, you heard?
Tempos, you heard on IG. So we're primarily posting on there for our next shows through IG. And you can count on us always to bring amazing content. So remember, follow us on our individual IGs, but also follow us on our social media at Back to Basics _ comic podcast. We also post on there. All right. So now back to the guests at hand. Are y'all ready?
Let's go.
All right, let's do this. So our guest today, I need a drum roll or something, but we have all types of different things going on. So we won't belabor the point. So we have twin artist duo Tahila and Tiah Ankum were born in Davonport, Iowa, raised in Atlanta, Georgia, and now residing in Southern Alabama. Whoo, that's a lot of national coasting there. That's awesome. They have flavor. So wait till you meet them. They're freaking amazing. They are freelance comic book artists and illustrators who started their first published story in 2020. Now, more stories later, they are trying to find their place in the comic book world, where they will soon showcase their work on the most memorable stories that stick with their fans. Their passion for storytelling and unique artistic styles allows them to bounce around between each other. They want to be a dynamic duo that allows young Black female artists and space in the industry. So, without further ado, are y'all ready? We about to bring them into the stream. So let me make sure you get the Full on fledged round of applause needed and deserved. Yes. So, how are you all, ladies? How are you all? Thank you so much for coming to the Back to Basics Comic Book Podcast. How's your day going?
Really good.
Awesome. Did it get better by coming to our podcast? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good one, Jan.
Yeah, thanks. So we're just gonna go and jump right into it because I know a lot of folks have probably met you at cons or interacted with you in some form or fashion, whether your work. And I just wanted to make sure people got the most out of this 45 minutes to an hour. And so we're going to ask you a pretty simple question that we ask all of our guests, and it's kind of geeky, I know, but we want you to tell us a little about yourself. So tell us your origin story. Tell us about your background, your upbringing, your identities that you bring to the table. So I know this is a twin thing, so we'll see what happens in this conversation.
Well, as you guys said, we did move around a lot. You would think we probably was a military family, but no, we just moved a lot. And so, yeah, we was born in the Midwest. We moved to Georgia for 13 years, raised there. And then our grandma said, let's go to Alabama. And so then we went there. And after that, it was kind of like moving through all of those places, it became like kind of like a culture shock. So we kind of went into our artwork, trying to like find our identities and our voices through there. And so, plus being twins, everyone's like, do you guys have a secret language? I'm like, no, we just draw with each other. We'll just show each other, like, you see this? And like, people used to think we didn't talk, but really it was just, it was all artwork.
Yeah. We were naturally quiet kids. Like, we still are relatively quiet. So, like, because we were so quiet, we really just started drawing and, like, we were just trying to figure out how to express ourselves. So, like, first it was just doing art. And then, like, when we was growing up, we also practiced, like, music. So she played, like, saxophone. I wanted to be the extra one. I went to orchestra and I was like, I'm gonna play cello. So we were just like always
trying to find what it was that, like,
who were we? Exactly. So, pretty much in terms of origin, we've always done art, of course, as everyone, story. We've been doing art since we were like 3. Our mom used to always say we drew on the walls and sorry, but then it kind of translated into, we started really taking art seriously. I would say, like, in middle school.
Had like a challenge between each other.
Yeah, we would always like challenge each other. And like, I think that was like really the moment we started writing our own stories. Like, even though it wasn't like anything like what we're doing now, I would like be in class and I'm just like drawing a little comic strip in my homework, and my teachers be like, great work, but
this is not the right answer.
So, like, it was just like, that was like when we knew we always like storytelling and stuff like that. And sometimes we would just get caught up mumbling to each other, and people were like, what are you guys talking about? And we're like, I'm just
making up a story.
Doesn't make sense. But I think like after that, we went to art school and we went to SCAD, which is, Savannah College of Art and Design, and
still trying to find our identity at that time. So that was a hard part.
And I think what I would say is that I went into art school expecting like for them to like, make me a better artist. And I realized like that's not really the best mindset to go into art school. Like, you want to like learn different things and stuff like that, but like, because I opened myself up so much, when I got criticism back, I took it so hard. So when we stopped going to SCAD,
it's like, what do I do now?
Yeah, like it put us through like a really big art block, like
we'll definitely talk about later.
Which we'll talk about later. But no, I mean, it was like mainly like it stunted us for a little bit, and if it wasn't for like Milestone and stuff like that, it gave us like a purpose to kind of like keep going. Because when I like it, basically like the whole what is it, the COVID outbreak and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and I should have been drawing, but instead like I couldn't. So
Yeah.
I was really surprised that it affected both of us the way it did. And we tried to draw every day and stuff like that, and I didn't realize how much art, like, being in art school and then them telling you like, oh, this is good or this is not good. And it was like, I didn't realize how much that affected my mental state. And so, I had to learn to like really believe in, we both had to learn to believe in our skills and like,
believe in like, this is what we want to do.
like I'm good. Like I know I'm a great artist, but
Yes.
I had to constantly like, we had to always remind each other, like when I was down, she would just kind of help me through it and I would do the same. And so like after that big, she got into Milestone and
it changed from there.
yeah, after that we started getting projects and it was really awesome. Like that's when everything kind of just took off.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think I wanted to follow up with that because I think it's important, and we talked about this earlier, having that reflection about how that you're good. Like you're good. You're really talented, the both of you. So I'm glad you got that early during COVID or during COVID, or maybe I don't say post-COVID because we're still in COVID times,
Yeah.
but I
Crazy.
think
like pre-COVID.
pre-COVID, yeah.
And during.
So and within your origin story, how did you know you were ready to make that leap?
I think it was more like I needed something to pull us out of it. It was like, if I don't do this, like I meet a lot of people. They're like, oh, I used to be an artist. I used to draw and stuff like that. And I just like, I wanted to be like the opposite. But like, I don't want to give up something that's been my dream my whole life. So like, I have to do something with it. I have to find something that can pull us out of it. So I knew, I was like, if I don't do it now, I won't do it. So let's just do it.
Well, you definitely meteorically, like the meteor that you all hit yourself on has been a great one. I'm looking forward to more and more. How does your family, what was their take on not just art school? They probably were like, are y'all gonna make money? But what was their, once you really started to gain traction, what was their like reaction?
I think like, because like we've always kind of had like a creative family. Like our mom, she painted when she was younger, and our grandma, she was a writer. So it was like we always wanted to find a way to like, okay, if you guys are drawing, then actually do it. Like, because like I said, like she was saying, we both kind of like was trying to figure out different mediums for us to be creative anyway, with playing instruments and trying to go through any medium we could. And so like our mom's like, all right, if you're gonna do art school, then actually go to art school. Don't play around. Like, it's two of y'all, we can't afford it, so you do what you can, and go from there. So
Yeah. Thankfully our family was really supportive. Like ever since we were younger, we would always, I look at the stuff now and I'm like, why did you say this was good? But every time we'd be like, look what we drew, and they was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And they was definitely lying, but I'm really happy that they did that. Like, it was really all of our family that kind of like helped motivate us, because that's all we were doing was drawing. Like, we were like, because we barely talked, like we were just every old picture we would find of us when we were younger, it was just us sitting down with paper and drawing. And so I remember one of my like favorite moments was like our uncle had got us a sketchbook, and it was like one of our first sketchbooks, and we made it into a big deal. But like to them, they really saw something in us and filled up all those sketchbooks. Then we're just kind of really happy to have like a family that really supported us.
That's awesome.
that kind of sense.
You still got all those sketchbooks from back in the day?
Unfortunately, yeah. Our grandma, she
She
has
keeps them.
and so recently she just been like texting us pictures of stuff from our sketchbooks, and I'm like,
That's cool.
no,
Like,
don't.
I don't need to see Bob the Snail anymore. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it paid off. I believe it paid off. So hopefully y'all see that as well. Wait till
Right.
y'all see their artwork. I'll show it in a few minutes. But we definitely wanted to get into your origin story, because again, it leads into the next phase that Temples is going to jump into, which is the next question around your style.
Yeah, so pretty much just to piggyback on everything we just talked about, how did y'all get into your art style? Like, did y'all have any mentors along the way creating your art style, things of that nature?
Our brother was kind of mainly our lens, because like he was, we're kind of like one of those, we were kind of raised with our older siblings, like they were older than us. So our older brother, like he always kind of, like he would teach us new things. Like when we were younger, he had us sitting in front, not going to sleep late at night to watch
like Toonami at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, watching like cartoons and anime and all that stuff. And then like, we would just everything that we pretty much learned, it was really through him. Like
Nice.
there was definitely a moment he was teaching us wrestling, and it was funny, we was talking about it like just a random time. It was like he would, anything we pretty much kind of are into right now, it's kind of because of him. Like our style kind of comes from the different things that like we kind of was like a sponge for, as a younger sibling, all you're doing is looking at your older siblings. So like, what are you guys doing? Fucking you guys. And then they show us this. Like our sister, she was into like books, so she definitely introduced us into like Octavia Butler. And it was like, that was amazing, because then I'm seeing that there's actually, Black women doing sci-fi, which was amazing. And then, I remember the first time we actually got a comic book, it was my brother had got me Green Lantern, because my favorite color is green. I'm easy, but he got me a Green Lantern book, and then I think he got Tahila a Red Lantern book. It was weird, but that was like the first book that I read, and I was like, whoa, they're actually drawing and putting words. And it was just like, that was kind of like the biggest thing that was really pivotal at that time, because I mean, I didn't know you could draw and then put words. Like that was amazing. Yeah. So
W brother.
Yeah.
Is there a big gap between your brothers and you guys?
Like it's 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's we were very much raised, by our older siblings along with our mom, because we had a single mom, so she definitely had our older siblings kind of have us. So like they had our older sister, which is 8 years apart. She had me, and then our older brother had her, and so like it was just kind of like swapping around.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about tag team.
Yeah.
But we get that. I mean, we hear that story, and yours is very, very familiar to probably a lot of folks listening or watching. And I'm just thankful that they were, mentors to you, and also pushing y'all to do more. That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I almost want to guess what comic book that was with the Green Lantern. Was it Brightest Day, Darkest Night? That your first comic I read?
I have it somewhere, but I don't have it with me because I have so many. But I'll probably let you guys know. It's
Okay.
still with us. Like
I'm just thinking, because when the Red Lantern was like, that was a great story. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about that time. So it might be right. I have it. I don't know. It's not in here, but
yeah,
it's that was a big one for me. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. How about working together? I know Tempos had talked about obviously like the mentors and whatnot, but you all work together as well. What's that influence look like? I know you talked about it in your younger version, right? Yeah. But like now you all are actually doing professionally, are actually making money
Mhm.
Hopefully they're throwing a whole boatload of money towards your way, right?
So,
Yeah.
But what's it like? How do you influence each other? What's that methodology?
I think it's really helpful that we kind of understand each other a lot more, because especially when it comes to when she started taking on projects outside of me, we had to learn like different dynamics of working with other people. And like, she would do like a pencil and then other people were inking, when normally I would be inking her work. And it would, we work well together because I just feel like our style kind of complements each other. And so like oftentimes I would tell people like my biggest competition is her. Like it's so, we always like make each other better in that sense. And like there'll be times like I'll draw something and she's like, how did you do that face? And I'm like, none of your business. And then and then I would look over my shoulder and I'm seeing her and I'm like, dang, that's really good. And then so we just often just like traded with each other to build our style. And then when it came to us working with other people, it just kind of helps because like she does the things I don't want to do. So that's why I'm really glad she took up like the coloring side and I took up more of the inking, because I'm gonna leave that for her. So it just kind of helps us anyway. Like whenever, especially with when we did one of our projects with it's called DMC. It's not out yet, but it was one of our first projects we was able to do it the whole process together with each other. And so like we would just be passing different panels to each other. Like we both did the pencils for it, and then I inked and then she did colors. But it was really nice that when we was doing the pencils, we was like, I'll do one set of pages, you do the other, to see how it works. And then when it came to me inking, I was looking and I was just learning her style, and I put my style on top of it. And then when it came to coloring, it was like a beautiful symphony.
That's awesome. Well, we know you have had the opportunities and landed some great projects as of late in the past years, and hopefully during COVID as well, you started to really come into your own. Can you talk about your involvement in a multitude of things that happen kind of overlapping each other and kind of through the woods in a sense, but tell us about your involvement in the Milestone initiative, working with Greg Burnham on his title and that collaboration. I read a little bit about how he was glowing about you all as well, and kind of stepping up to the plate, and also finding time to like creating your own books. What does that look like? Because that sounds like you're juggling a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, yeah, I had the amazing opportunity to get into Milestone Initiative. We both auditioned for it, which it was really hard because at that time it was actually like she was saying about the art block. I didn't know, like we wanted to do comic books. I knew that that's what I wanted to do, but I had no direction, where to go, how to get there, who are the people I'm supposed to meet. And then I remember my brother, again, he was looking on Instagram and he saw the post of the like the auditions and the applications, and I was like, he's like, you have to do this. If you don't do it, then you got to get a different job. Exactly. And I'm just like, okay, well, it's 3 pages, and it was
No pressure.
Yeah, but it was like the hardest 3 pages we've ever had to draw, because it was like I'm trying to pull myself out of this really deep art block, and I'm trying to like, how do I make this look pretty if I don't feel like can draw something pretty right now? And so it was a really like, honestly, like it felt like it was a beautiful moment going through the process, even though it was painful. But I felt like at the time, like we would just like sit in our room working on our desk, and then just listen to music, and it just felt like I was healing through the process of getting something. And then when I got the email back, I was like, what? Like they was like, yeah, you've been selected.
Oh, don't even.
She
came running up the stairs. I thought it was like she came crying. I was like, what happened?
I was very shocked. I was like, it was a beautiful moment, and it just felt like when you like thinking about music, we was going through like the rough part of the music, and then you're just like letting it actually sink in, and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to get through this? And then through the process, they were always so supportive when they, when they flew us out there. That's when I got to really meet all of the people in my cohort, and we became like really close. It was like a family, and I'm just over here like, yeah, you guys should meet my twin sister. And like every time I'm just like, I feel bad because I'm like, I want to be in this moment, but I'm like, yeah, meet my sister. Like
she's dope too.
It was the first. It was the first like time we was ever really separated.
Yeah, like even in college we were right there. So like, I had to fly for the first time, which I was so scared, but I knew that this wasn't just for me, but this could be for us. This could be for the people behind me. I don't know, but it was important to at least go for it. And when I got there, they was so kind, so nice. Too nice, but I really appreciate it because I met people, and I think that was the biggest part that I take with me today, is that the people that I met there is always going to be part of my life. I met all the projects even after that I got because of the people that I met with. I met Greg there. I met and he was like, yeah, I got this project that I'm working on. It's called The Search of Sadiq, and I need an artist to work on it. I'm just like, what? That's awesome. So that was, and then like even with the Shaolin Nun project, I met it was another Greg, which is funny, Greg Maldonado. I'm probably butchering his last name, but he was the artist on Shaolin Nun for the first 3 issues, and then he reached out to me and he was like, he was looking for a different direction, so they wanted to have like a woman artist to work on the project because it's a amazing woman, strong woman fighting. I was like, yeah, I'll take that if I get to draw fighting. So that was a really big opportunity, and it was just like, it just felt like I had to take that step, and then when I did, we were blessed right after. So
that's awesome. For those who don't know what Milestone Initiative is, would you mind giving like a little blurb?
It was a program that we 12 artists and 12 writers were selected for this amazing program. You got to go and basically get introduced to the industry. You get to sit down with the creators of Milestone, which was amazing because it was a important part of showing that there are people who look like me that can create the stories that I want to create. So it was a amazing opportunity, and even today I'm like, now these people are forever here. So yes, it was a beautiful experience.
So not to put you on the spot, did you know what Milestone was before you entered?
I kind of did. Like, I knew about Static Shock, and then I remember I knew Static Shock, so then when I put it together, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But yeah,
awesome.
Before our time, but
yeah, it was. I'm glad.
Definitely way back there.
Yeah. It probably predates your birth, right? So
yes.
There are some documentaries too that are really cool, and I just admire those gentlemen that put that together. So now the two of you worked together on Greg's book, right? Greg Burnham's book.
The Search of Sadiq.
Yeah, so talk a little about that, and like, how did that happen? Because I read the story from Greg's perspective. I want to hear from you if that's how it went down.
Yeah, like, it was actually weird because, like, okay, so this is how I remember it. Okay, so it was we was in California with the Milestone, and I walked up to him and I was just trying to introduce myself, and he's like, hey, I gotta talk to you. And I was like, oh, what is this? Like, he's scared me because he's like super tall, and I'm just like, okay, this tall guy is trying to talk to me, what do you want? And so then he was like, he has his story, and then it was like, he told me about what it was about, and honestly, I kind of fell in love with the character anyway because, me, I love history. I love drawing strong Black women. So I was already sold. And so then I was like, yeah, I have this amazing opportunity to tell you, but I have a twin sister. She could draw for me too. So then I came home, told her about it, and then we kind of both was like geeking out because we love history. It was weird, but I definitely was like so happy to work on it because I think we were going to pitch it first to a publishing. That process didn't go through, and then he said, "You know what? We're just going to scratch that and we're going to push it out." And do the Kickstarter and see how that goes. So that was so scary, but I'm really happy that we got to work on that.
So Tahila, what was your involvement, take on what occurred? Because I can literally visually see y'all running around in circles, like having it geeking out. So what was that like for you, and what did you contribute to the project?
When she told me about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And so I didn't really it didn't click with me yet. And so, because at the moment she wasn't really saying full words. So when, she showed me, we got the script, and, there was definitely moments where, we would trying to figure out how we're going to piece all of this together. Cause, that's kind of like the beauty of making comic books, is kind of like you feel like you're a director almost. So there's definitely moments where, I'm really grateful that, two minds are better than one. But, when, to me, it was like my first project, that I felt like, we were really gonna push out with my name, and I drew and stuff like that, because, with the Milestone, and she was able to do the book, it was her. And so I felt, weird at first, because, for a moment I felt like, I didn't deserve this. I felt as if you earned it. But then she really kind of put in, my head, and stuff like that, this is us, this is a us thing. She went to the Milestone for us, and I'm really grateful that she, drug me along. So I was, really grateful. I'm so happy. But my involvement in that book is, again, we both did the pencils. So, she did one page and I did other. I'm not going to say which pages. I want to keep them, guessing. But, then after, what was it? I'm not going to say. But after that, I did the inking, and so that kind of brought our styles together, and
That's
then
cool.
she colored it.
So
the viewers will have to do a scavenger hunt to figure out
who did what.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if they win, we'll figure out the prize later.
I know. Okay. And it's kind of funny because the project DMC, we have a real bet together. I'm not gonna fully, but we put a lot of Easter eggs in that book, and I'm pretty sure no one's gonna find it.
I think they will.
She thinks she believes in people. I don't think anybody's gonna find it. But we definitely put a lot of Easter eggs in there, and it was really fun because when it comes to our name, Siamese Rose, yes, we are different, but we kind of have our own kind of persona within it. That's kind of why oftentimes you'll see I'll go by Blue and then she goes by Greenie, is because we kind of that's kind of another version of us. It's kind of our little characters we put in our work.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, thank you, Greg, wherever you are, Greg Bonner. Thank you for bringing these two together. I actually thought it was cool that your last names were double on the cover. I was just like, that is such a cool feat and awesome.
Awesome.
That was cool.
Wow.
Well,
I do.
I'm going to transition to Tempos. Tempos, I know he's the question man. So
No, I actually did have a question. 'Cause I know you talked about a little bit, but I want to piggyback back on it. You talked about Shaolin Nun. Tell us a little bit more about that, like the plot, the inspiration to get into, doing that style. Like, tell us more about that.
Yes. Yeah, so one of the people that I met in the Milestone was another Greg. It was two Gregs, so that was fun. They had a lot of people who had two same names, but the other Greg, he was an artist and he worked on the project. Previously, he did the first three books, and then they wanted to have a new direction, and I think he wanted to do other things as well. I think he still wrote it as well with the writer J.C. Carter, and so they reached out to me, and it was a really fun opportunity because I also love martial arts. So like I loved watching like old kung fu movies, and I would just sit there. We would just sit there and try to draw the scenes and stuff. So when I got this opportunity, I was like, yes, I'm gonna draw a Shaolin Nun, and she's gonna be fighting people, and that's gonna happen. So it was, the story is about a nun. She lives in what's it, California, and then she wants to teach women how to protect themselves, and so she created a temple, and basically all of these things are kind of going around her, and she has to be the hero, and that's like really important because like she could just stay in her temple and let people come to her, but she wants to be the protector of people who are not seen, people who are, if you like, I think the first book, there's a young woman. She's trying to get it. She's about to get like attacked, and
Without spoilers.
yeah, without, I guess it's already out.
uh-oh.
But
You gotta think.
Exclusively
messed
back
up,
to
but
basics.
basically, she's this hero, but she's like a real life hero, and I think what was amazing, during this process, I got to, they showed me that there really are Shaolin nuns, and they really are amazing. So like that was really fun to see, and like, put that, and JC Carter, he is like a nerd for martial arts. He was teaching me these actual moves. Like in his scripts, he's like, make sure the knuckle is right, because if it's not right, it's not going to be the right thing. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm over here researching, trying to make sure the things are right. I think it was even the markings on her head. He's like, don't move it here, move it more on top of her head, because it's like incense, and they have it actually, they have to sit there and let it imprint on their head. I'm just like, wow, like I'm learning while
Oh, wow.
creating this. So
Shoot.
Yeah,
I've seen enough kung fu flicks. I don't know if I was in that depth with it, so that's kind of cool.
I didn't know either. I'm just like, that's amazing.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
Like he even had diagrams of
Yeah.
like what should be breaking.
exactly. So
Was it tough getting into getting the Kickstarter ready, things like that for for Shaolin Nun?
I think that, like, honestly, I give all praise to JC and his team, because they kind of, was teaching me how to do this process, because I think like Kickstarter was probably like one of the main things that I was probably scared of, because I'm like, how are we going to sell something that like people don't know what to expect? What are the process of getting there, and how are they going to get these books? I learned along the way, which was amazing, because now that I have the book in my hand, I'm like, okay, this actually,
It wasn't so bad.
it wasn't so bad. So yeah, honestly, he really was kind of teaching me how make sure you make a brand, make sure that you communicate with the backers, and show them that this is a process of creating a project and whatnot. So that was definitely a really fun, well, not really fun, but it was it was an experience to learn. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to show on stream some of your other stuff that you're involved in. For example, we talked about Milestone Initiative, but as you can see, the Siamese froze are out at cons, and this is the DMC that you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
cool. So that's up and coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
From my news to share is if you go to the New York Comic Con, if you go to DMC's panel, then you can see our first chapter we worked on. So
Oh,
go see that.
so you'll be at New York Comic Con.
We won't be there, but they will be showing the first.
Like he will be there. Like we had the opportunity to work with Daryl McDaniels. Well, with that story.
Mm-hmm. We did the first issue of. We did the fourth issue of the first chapter.
First chapter of the fourth issue.
Yeah. And they had a lot of different artists and writers to work on that project, which was amazing. We got the script, and then and honestly, getting that opportunity was also something that I was really grateful as well. In the Milestone initiative, they had us go to the Kubert School for I think 8 weeks, I believe, and one of the teacher for the writers, her name was Amy Chu, and she reached out to me randomly, and she was like, "Hey, there's this project, and I think you'd be a good fit." And I was like, "Wow, what is it?" And then she showed me, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, really?" Like, and I think that was like really amazing to have that opportunity as well. And then the editors were really nice, and we got to work on it together. And
I know
That's cool.
It was really interesting because like it's hard to because there's so many like DMC titles and stuff like that, and so like I feel weird when I have to tell people like DMC, like Run DMC, like, yes, I know who he is. And I'm like, oh, right, you know more than me. But, so it was really, really nice to just do something like that. It was fun to like draw like graffiti and like pretty much influence like the hip hop culture into like our own comic book, and it was like super fun drawing brass knuckles and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, this is fun. So
violence.
Violence is fun. That's cool.
That is a dope homage though, the DMC.
Yeah. That's pretty dope. So is he involved in this project too? That's cool.
Yes, it was really
that is so crazy.
Like we had got some of his like sketches for his like character ideas,
which was really cool.
I'm gonna keep them. I know, but like we had we were really happy to like be able to create a character for that issue. So it was like, even if we're not working on that project anymore, people are gonna always
have
keep
to
our
draw.
design for this particular character in the book. And
now, did you immortalize yourselves in it too? Is that the two of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So this is just like a teaser picture we did for like one of the conventions, like just to kind of promote the book is coming out pretty soon.
He's tangled.
Yeah, he got tangled with Simon's Rose, so that was kind of like the thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I want that, and I want your signature. I want that.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And then this is the other book, the Search for Sadiq, right?
Yes.
Cool. And Greg, wherever you are, they are representing you big time. This is such a dope project, and even in the promo, we were able to showcase that. So hopefully, you give these ladies a call for the next issues that are up and coming.
Yeah, they are already. He's got a bunch of ideas. Like even now, he'll just be like, "I got ideas," and we're like, "Yeah, just bring them this way."
Hey, you want to talk a little about these inspirations that you all put forth and sent us?
Yes. I mean, I had to do a rocket picture because in the Milestone, I got to work on the story What's Left Behind with the writer Morgan Hampton. And I love Rocket. Like I feel bad for my, past stuff that I didn't get to be introduced to her much younger, but learning her story after was like, I just fell in love with the character because I'm like, this is so amazing. Like she's such a strong character. So I had to draw a picture of Rocket. So that had to happen. And then I love Nightcrawler. So.
Yeah, these are just some of the illustrations that we have, especially during our like convention time and stuff like that. And of course, like, so she drew the Nightcrawler and she drew the Rocket picture, and then I drew the Blade picture. So it just kind of gets you a nice little taste of like how our style kind of is slightly different, but like, then you see like Sadiq brought together.
That's pretty badass. I don't mean to speak for him, but I think Tempos is looking right at that blade, and he might want that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, see, Jen knows me very well. I was looking at from the start of it, I was like, that blade, man. I really like that blade. Because I just seen the movie, I don't know if y'all seen the Deadpool Wolverine. And when I seen Blade, I was like, oh, man, this is my dude.
Yeah, that's honestly why I did it. Because, like, growing up, I loved, like, Blade was, like, one of my favorite. Of course, Big Brother sat us around watching it. And
nice.
We probably shouldn't have been watching it, but it was definitely, I still just loved it. And so, when I saw him in the movie, I was like, oh my gosh,
this is a sign.
This is a sign I have to draw it.
Nice.
So, yeah, I was debating to either draw him like with the, white, like the gray and stuff, or a younger version. So
that's cool.
More inspiration to do another one with in the Deadpool universe.
Oh yeah,
might happen.
All right, so just want to make sure we have enough time because we have so many more questions. Y'all are like amazing to have here. To be quite honest, we're enjoying ourselves. But your bio states that you wanted to be an inspiration to young Black female artists. What have you seen in the industry around Black women creatives entering the space as of late, and even in your experience? And why is inclusion important to you all, and how do you pay it forward?
Well, to start, I feel like there's not enough, which is weird to say because, Black women, we're so creative. We, we're entrepreneurs and, we create. So to see that there's not enough, like, especially comic book artists in the field, like, when we kind of put ourselves out there, when I'm looking up, different Black women comic book artists, I don't see a lot of names. And so, like, when we stumbled on, like, Aletha Martinez, she's awesome. Like, she worked on Nubia, and, she's just an amazing artist. And
we met her.
We was able to meet her. I was honestly trying to keep my pitch from going so high. I was, and so, like, to me, it's, like, very important to see, like, people like you. And, it's beautiful to see Black people, but, like, it touches my heart differently when I see, like, Black women, being awesome. Like, it's like, it's like, that's so important to me
because we are storytellers, like, there are people who look like me that can draw a panel that is amazing. And it's like it's not small, because that's something that, like, I looked at when I was younger. I want to see characters that look like me. I want to see people who create it look like me, because then it shows me that I could do it, and that people behind me can do it as well. So.
Yeah, like, it's still strange that it's not enough Black women doing art, comic books.
And I'm grateful
we got
that we
stories.
got
I know there's amazing writers, and I want to work with every Black woman writer I can, and but to bring, like, those words to life is, like, so meaningful to me, because it's like that, to collaborate with people who can, who thinks like me, and like, for even one of her books in Shaolin Nun, normal people won't notice the fact that the one Black character in there, her hair is constantly changing. To us, that's like a big deal. Like, Black women's hair change all the time. So, like, why is she gonna keep her hair in one style? So, like, that's important to us, because Black women hair, it's one of the same. So that's why I want to like bring more fun ideas like that, so that people can notice like the subtleties, like
The
you know,
culture aspects.
yeah, like that's important because like if we don't show people like this is how Black women view ourselves and stuff like that, people are gonna constantly have their own ideas. And even like one of my favorite comic book characters of course is Storm, but like the fact that they never had a Black woman artist on her, I'm like, why, what are you talking about? Like, she's she's always like, she's so cool. And I future, please let me draw her. She's one of my favorite. Like, I just want to keep bringing that out because like I just want, if there's one thing I do is I want to put as many Black characters out there. And if that means like doing superheroes or even just like other stories, because that's my mission. That's my one mission, is to just put as much Black characters
and twins
and twins and stuff like that. Because one of the biggest things, like it's not anytime now, but like we want to push out stories that like kind of shows people like what's it like being a twin, like, but put that in our stories so that people can kind of get like a better understanding. Because like normally speaking, twins are normally
side
characters, henchmen, stuff like that. But like
Henchman is wild, but you right about that one. I did see a couple twins henchmen, even in the Joker DC universe.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, they can have dimension too.
They can be together.
They can
and
be
separate.
A main character, and the twins that are main characters, people remember them because they won't stop saying it when they see us.
Like Tia and Tamara,
Warner twins. It's like, well, I want to put a new name out there. So that's something that's important as well. It's like just more stories out there so that people can see themselves. Because I know there's plenty of Black artists who are girls.
I got a question. So let's say they called you up right now for Storm, and you had a choice to do either current Storm, that's the leader of the X-Men, or future Storm, that's holding the X-Men together, 2099 version. Which one would you go with?
I will say I'll take the future Storm because she's amazing.
With the Mohawk?
Yes, that's mine.
I mean, that's kind of my favorite too. But
I don't know about you, but I'm taking that one.
I mean,
we're gonna have to separate.
We could do them both. That's the beauty of us being artists. She could do one, I'll do the other. So, yeah, I would probably the future.
You should do a Ryan Reynolds. And just like say, here you go, y'all. We made this comic book, and yeah, it sort of looks like Storm. Do you want to pitch it? Boom. Yeah, Stormish. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think I not to piggyback on that question because I have a ton of questions for y'all now. But what is it? What's the project you really want to work on?
Well, we definitely have some stories that like we have to flesh out because brain be all over here and I need to draw a picture. So I mean that's definitely something that we are working on, is a few stories, really creating our own. We definitely want to do our own indie projects as well, and that's definitely happening. It's happening.
But who do you want to work on?
Wait, what do you mean?
Probably Storm, right?
Most likely Storm, but I'm saying like indie projects. I definitely want to also show characters that can be, like that people don't know. Like that's the beauty of like comic books, is you get to introduce people to some new characters.
Short answer, Storm.
Awesome.
Long answer, everyone.
Tempos, you up next because we'll be here. Literally, I love talking to them. They're so cool.
So I have this question, but I just want to ask this real quick question off topic because I kind of stumped you on the Storm. So I just want to stump you again. Have y'all ever right? We're gonna go to personal life right here, if y'all can. Have y'all ever used the other to get out of a situation because y'all twins? Like a course, a college course, a seminar.
They
Hey,
would never.
I would need you to do this for me because I don't want to today.
Actually,
I picked up homework. Like I've gone to a class and like received something for her because she wasn't able to. But like
Allegedly.
yeah,
Allegedly.
there's no proof, but
there's no proof.
we thought I got it, so that's all
But
that
yeah,
matters.
and I think yes, okay, in college, hypothetically, there was a moment where I needed to turn in a project, and I had a very strict teacher. She had a specific time in the specific office that was across the way from where we were supposed to be, and she happened to be closer to the area where the teacher was, and so I was like, I'm literally coming, I need you to like block her. Like I had to turn in this
I
thing.
didn't
I had
even
to
know
slide
the lady.
she didn't know her, but I was like, she's got crazy glasses, just get in the elevator. I'm going on the stairs. I need you to kind of just slow her down. So I definitely was like rushing to try to get, slide my assignment under her desk, and
She made it.
I did. Hypothetically, it was just
Allegedly.
yeah,
Allegedly.
this
Yeah.
happened.
Well, you got your degree, so it doesn't matter at this point.
No, we didn't get the degree.
No,
Okay.
But
Well,
it's okay.
but it's okay. Yeah,
allegedly, you did
Yeah.
all those things.
yeah. But
Good memory.
I would say, like, when she was in marching band and I was in orchestra, there was definitely a moment where, when like the upperclassmen are kind of supposed to be like playfully mean
Sure.
to her. There was a time where they saw me, and I guess they thought it was her. And so they was like, they like
Pushed her
pushed
randomly.
me into the locker, and I'm like, wrong twin. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, I'm the one. I'm in orchestra. She's in band. You be mean to her. So
That's crazy.
if anything, I got in more trouble. I took all the licks, probably. Hers too.
Oh,
Well, that
wow.
might be why the pay it back piece, from your sister. She's like, "Come on, let's do this together." She feels guilty.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Tempo.
Oh, I was gonna ask any new projects, any titles in the horizon for y'all for the dynamic duo?
Well, yes, the DMC should be coming out soon, and of course I think the first backer should be getting the Sadiq. We worked on Sadiq too, and of course we're going to continue working on Sadiq. You have to fight me to get it back. But
of course, look out for Shaolin Nun. She will be on, for chapter 4, 5, and 6. So, be on the lookout for that. Probably sometime next year.
Awesome.
And there's so many other projects, but like, I'm not sure if we can't really talk about right now.
No, we don't want to put you in a bind. We don't want to put you in artistic purgatory just in case or canceling. We don't want that to happen. So.
Oh, don't worry. We could bring y'all back on if y'all
Yeah.
get some free time to talk about it.
Yes. Yeah,
now, if people wanted to support you, back you, or even people want to get in touch with you, maybe they have their own indie aspirations. How can they get in touch with you? Are you doing in your busy schedule? Are you doing any, commissions and support for other folks who have those dreams as well? And what are your socials and websites that people can kind of follow?
Okay. Right now, the best way to probably connect with us is through our Instagram. It's the Siamese Rose 98, and we, that's probably, if you have any commission ideas, shoot them my way. I will always try to, it keeps me busy, so I would always take it. But yeah, that's probably the easiest way to connect with us. We're definitely pushing out more on other social media platforms. But
we're
now,
just shy, but we're gonna try to be more active. And we also have Instagram separately, but you know,
the best way is
the
the one we
Siamese
share.
Bros 98.
Awesome.
And if you can't reach that one, you look for It's Tiah.
But
That's it.
It's random, so it's IT_S_Tiah. I was extra. I didn't mean to.
So we are at the end of the show. I want something that we always ask folks is, what do you want to leave the audience with as parting words, inspiration, or anything that you want folks to know that wasn't, I guess, expressed today?
That's a good one. I guess a big one is if you want to do something, do it. Nike, just do it. I don't know, but I don't want to get in trouble. But honestly, yeah, like that's probably like the biggest part, because even if you're scared, even if you just don't know what direction to go, just try your best and go from there. As long as you do your best, that's all that matters.
Do your best.
Do your best.
Yeah.
And Tahila, how about you?
Oh man.
She was crossing her fingers like, please don't ask me. That was a good question.
I think, the biggest thing I would say is, it's like, don't let other people tell you how great you are, because, that's kind of like the biggest thing that was, that affected me. I was truly, I was listening to people, and I took criticism and I took it as a Bible, but I would just believe in yourself is kind of the simple way to put it. But, if you have to see how awesome you are first before, you can expect other people to see how awesome you are. So.
Awesome. So if you don't know, now you know. They've been on the Back to Basics comic book podcast show. I can't wait to see what else they conjure up and or produce. These are not up and coming. They have done the work. They've done the toil and blood, sweat, and tears. And luckily they have each other to collaborate. We can't wait to see this dynamic duo killing it in the next few years. Our Siamese Froze, make sure you follow them on IG, Tahila and Tiah Ankum. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, guys.
I mean, y'all have been so much fun. Like, I could go like another hour. But Tempos, any other things you want to?
Just for me, just make sure if you have any questions, submit those questions. We want to get back to y'all. We want to communicate with y'all. Like they said, if we have our IGs, right, we're going to be doing this more. So you're going to see more of us, right? And make sure you check them out, because Siamese twins, man, like Siamese Froze, like they're pretty cool. Hopefully we get them back on here. But check us out. Remember, subscribe, like, and comment, guys. We want to engage with y'all.
To them and like it.
Thank you. On behalf of the Back to Basics comic book podcast, this is another dope behind episode that we've produced with these amazing creatives, the Siamese Froze, killing it once again. And you will see them very soon. So everybody have a great one, and we are out. Peace.